Today we're going to take a look at some more polling out of a couple of key swing states. Those are going to be Michigan and Wisconsin. So these are also going to be from Emerson. And I get it, you might not be the biggest fan of Emerson. They've got some hits, they've got some misses. Absolutely take a look at some other polls. But Emerson consistently puts out polls, and these are the states we're going to frequently revisit over the next 7 months. So both of these states are battlegrounds for president as well as in the U.S. Senate. So let's start with Michigan. The top line shows Trump with a 1-point lead, 45 to 44. So there's 11% that are undecided, but that changes. Once you push those undecideds, then it becomes dead even, 50 for Biden, 50 for Trump. And if you look at the past 4 to 5 months, Biden was ahead back in November. Then Trump opened up a 6-point lead in January, and the last couple of months it's been a pure toss-up. So we've got the sample size here of 1,000 registered voters. Just with independent voters, 40% break for Trump while 35 go toward Biden. 26 are undecided, but if you push those undecideds, then with independents, Trump leads 51 to 49. It says 35% of voters expressed interest in a third-party candidate. However, only 7% ultimately opt for one when given those additional choices. So that's usually what happens. A lot of voters are dissatisfied with the current politicians and they want an alternative. But in the end, not that many actually are able to go through with it. Now, when they add in third-party candidates, then Trump has a 2-point lead, 43 to 41. Only 5% here in Michigan go to Kennedy, 1% for West and Stein, while 10% remain undecided. Here's another even split. We've got 51% think Donald Trump does not deserve another chance to run for president, while 49% think he does. There's a decent gender gap there. 58% of women think he does not deserve a chance, while 58% of men think he does. We've got approval ratings for Biden. He's at 39%, 52% disapprove. Governor Gretchen Whitmer is at a 49 approval, 42 disapproval. And they throw in a hypothetical between Whitmer and Donald Trump. Whitmer leads there by 5, 50 to 45. So that is her home state. I would expect Whitmer to have an advantage. A lot of Democrats think she should have gotten into the race, but a 5-point lead for Whitmer over Trump is still not enough of a sure thing. Now, in the U.S. Senate, that's an important election. It's an open seat, as Debbie Stabenow is not going to run for re-election, so there are primaries on both sides. For the Democrats, it seems likely that Alyssa Slotkin is going to be the nominee, so in their hypothetical polling, they use Slotkin going up against various Republicans. The Republican side does have more competition, and it is early, as these primaries are not even until August 6th, but Mike Rogers might be the early frontrunner. He's a former congressman, and if he were to go up against Slotkin, Slotkin leads by 2 points, 41 to 39, with 20% undecided. In some of the other hypotheticals, if it's Slotkin against Peter Meyer, then Slotkin opens up a decent lead. She's up by 8, 42 to 34. And there is a third former congressman in this GOP primary, and that is Justin Amash. Up against Slotkin, she gets 43, Amash gets 35. So we've got a lot of time here, but it looks like Slotkin maintains her small advantage. Then we've got the top issues for the state. For all voters, the economy is at the top at 38%. Immigration is number 2 at 11. Of those that say the economy is their top issue, 60% go to Trump, 30 for Biden. If immigration is your top issue, Trump gets almost all of that support, 84% to Biden's 11. The top issues that are better for Biden are threats to democracy, where he's at 70 to Trump's 26, and healthcare, which I assume is going to have a lot of overlap with abortion. Biden is at 61 to Trump's 22. So those are two strengths for each side that they're both going to hit hard. Threats to democracy is a little bit ambiguous. Some of those voters could be Republicans that think Democrats are the threat. So that's where Michigan is at. Most of the head-to-head polls have shown Trump with a small advantage, but in the Senate, it's the Democrats that have the small advantage. So let's move on to the Badger State. We've got Wisconsin, and the top line here is Trump 46, Biden 43. There are 11% undecided, but if you push those voters, then Trump leads by 4, 52 to 48. If you look at the history of the polling, Biden was ahead by 1 in January, but in the last 2, Trump has been up by 3. We've got independent voters. They're going toward Biden, 42 to 37, 21% undecided. Once you push those independents, then it's nearly an even split, 51 Biden, 49 Trump. 37% of voters say they want to see a third-party candidate on the ballot, and if that was the case, 43% go to Trump, 40 for Biden, 6 for Kennedy, 1 for West and Stein, while 10% are undecided. 51% think Donald Trump deserves another chance to run for president, while 49% think he does not. So it's been mostly consistent with Trump in these states. He has a narrow, low single-digit advantage. What about in the Senate here in Wisconsin? This time it's not an open seat. We've got Democrat Tammy Baldwin running for a third term. So again, we've got some time before the primary, and other candidates could get into this race for the GOP. But right now, the frontrunner might be Eric Hovde. He already ran in the past. He's trying to get back into it this time. If he were the nominee for the GOP, then Baldwin leads by 3, 45 to 42. 14% undecided. Women go to Baldwin 50 to 36. Men go to Hovde 49 to 40. And independent voters go to Baldwin 41 to 36. Personally, I don't think Hovde is a strong candidate, but in this poll, it's another toss-up, so theoretically, it could go either way. Here, 35% of voters think the economy is the top issue. 11% say it's healthcare. Biden's approval rating here is at 38%, 53 disapprove. Governor Tony Evers is at a 42 approval, 42 disapproval. So this is another state where Trump leads at the top of the ticket, but in the U.S. Senate, the Democrats have the small advantage. Could both states elect Trump as president, but put a Democrat in the Senate? On the surface, given the level of polarization, it doesn't seem all that likely. However, if the margin ends up being only about 1%, that could be the same amount of voters that would vote for Trump for president, but put a Democrat in the Senate. It's all possible. These are the blue states that Trump won in 16, but Biden won in 20. It's been a while since the Republicans won a Senate seat in Michigan. In Wisconsin, they do currently hold one of those seats with Ron Johnson. So it would seem like Wisconsin is more likely to go red than Michigan, but there's a lot of different factors. A lot of people point to the situation with Israel and Hamas that could depress Biden's turnout. While turnout is important, I don't think it's everything. There are going to be some voters that just did not vote last time, and then there's going to be other voters that did vote last time, but they're going to vote for somebody different this time. Might not be a huge number, but it could be enough to tip the state. So while these polls are interesting to take a look at in March, there's no telling what they're going to look like in June or August or October. At the bottom of both of these polls, you could also click here for the full results if you want to take a look at the question wording or get the crosstabs. So maybe these Emerson polls end up being spot on. Maybe they weighted the sample wrong and they have an inaccurate view of what the electorate's going to be. It's all possible, but it looks decent for Trump right now, given back in 2016 and 20, there were almost no polls at any point that showed Trump with any kind of an advantage. We're going to keep looking at the key states over time, so let me know in the comments. Michigan and Wisconsin, what do you think about these states? Could there be ticket splitting where Trump wins the state but the Senate goes blue? What do you think is going to happen with turnout? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.